Well, welcome back to Stocks to Watch as we take a deeper look into lottery.com, a leading technology company transforming how, where, and when lottery is played. Previously trading on the NASDAQ under LTRY, now trading under Sports Entertainment Gaming Global on the NASDAQ under SEGG. We are privileged to be joined by Matthew McGahan, the president and CEO, along with Tim Scoffham, the CEO, to lead global expansion of sports.com media. First and foremost, welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Carl. Good to be here.
Yeah, such a pleasure to get both of you on. So first and foremost, Matthew, there's been a lot of incredible volume in your stock recently, trading up on the year with shareholders recognizing your ambitious roadmap ahead. Do you want to discuss a little bit about that? Maybe who's helping you captain the ship and just kind of give us a broad view?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, look, we've had a really good couple of months, haven't we? And it's certainly been a stock that has been talked about. There's a nice magnifying glass on that, and by design. We have you mentioned captain of the ship, and I suppose that falls to me. But we have a great team that have helped us get to this point, and it's ever expanding. Hence why you've got Tim on the phone. But look, just a brief update from when you guys interviewed me last time. So look, I suppose the big story is that we have closed on acquisitions that we've been talking about for the last year, and that obviously means that the company is alive and well and kicking. And we've been concentrating on building out the two models that we've been talking about over the last 12 months, being lottery.com and sports.com. And sports.com has picked up an awful lot of traction these last couple of months. We're going to speak about the latest acquisitions and the position that Tim Scoffham has just taken and accepted in the last week. Tim's been working with us for the last 12 months on a consultancy basis. And finally, we've agreed terms with Tim, and delighted to have him on board today and announcing him here on this interview.
Yeah, and congratulations, Tim. And we'll kind of dive into that a bit. You do have an impressive track record in this space. Do you want to share more about it, kind of why joining sports.com as CEO felt like the right step here moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, gentlemen, for Matt's introduction. I think in terms of my history and why that makes sense for, not just for me, but for sports.com as well, is that sports.com, of course, is a combination of a number of different assets, depending on how we consider the brand. Should it be audience or content distribution or markets? And I think that my background lends towards what the brand can, what we could do with the brand now going forward in terms of my broadcast experience, understanding how we engage users, thinking about different types of audience profiles and how you engage them under different ways. Should it be content, engagement, games, or whatever's required to just generally get distribution throughout markets? And now felt like the right time to become a part of the team with Matt. They've spent incredible amount of time getting the business to the position that it is now, and having to go through a very difficult process to get them there. I can only commend them for their effort to do that. And now is the right time for me to come in and work with Matt and the rest of the executive team to now drive that forward.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the insight there, Tim. Now, you do have the upcoming launch of sports.com Super App, which marks a significant step forward. Given the company's successful turnaround, why is now the right time to launch this kind of all-in-one digital sports ecosystem? And what does this kind of signal about your long-term strategy?
Yeah, look, making sure we have the right application to deliver to consumers is fundamentally one of the most key important asset for us, because really going to only engage those users once. So making sure that we have an app which can compete at the highest level, has all the right components. Should it be ability to distribute content in a pre-recorded context, but also in a live stream context, thinking about the different demographics, we can take that too. It means you need to find the absolute, the right time, and that time is now. Putting all of the history of lottery.com, where sports.com falls under, in terms of the corporate things that had to be taken care of, and they've been done incredibly well and very diligently. I say now is time to actually now take this to market, go and speak to our audience in the different markets for which we can reach them in, and make sure that we can deliver them an experience which is not just a in a competitive nature, but something that actually they want to see and go back to and tell their friends about. And we've configured this app in such a way that we're very confident it's going to be something that can not only go to the competition, but actually be something that's a really good destination for users to go to for sport-specific content.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind just touching on that a bit deeper. When it comes to Super App, what kinds of features and user experiences can fans expect from the app, and how do you see that kind of helping grow your user base and kind of stand out in this increasingly competitive digital sports media market?
That's a really good point, and actually, it's something that we discussed on numerous occasions. That where features are important, we lay out our roadmap, which extends now to sort of 18 months already in terms of different features that we will add to the platform. Actually, we're not necessarily feature-led, we're more experience-led. Now, what I mean by that is that we want to ensure that the app that we deliver to consumers thinks about the sort of content that we're delivering to perhaps an audience profile that might be sufficient for the Indian market. Now, we know that that won't be the same as the type of content and engagement and experience to users in the Mexican market. Similarly with the United States, similarly with the United Kingdom. And we have to think about that strategically. So we haven't necessarily gone on a heavy feature-led approach in terms of the launch, more about experience, because if we can localize that experience, it becomes an app that users want to go back to and return to, tell their friends about, and ensures one of the key and most important things, and certainly for me as I come in and approach this, which ultimately comes down to retention. And we find this from our day-to-day consumption of almost anything in our personal lives, that the way the world is now, there's just so many options. So for me, the focus isn't necessarily about features; it's more about experience, ensuring that the experience means that users continue to come back to our app and utilize it, and ultimately, they stay with us and we retain them as consumers. That's the number one objective for us, and that's why it's the right time to be delivering it in this format, with the experience that we've laid out and the roadmap that we have in place.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the insight on that. And I wouldn't mind pivoting a little bit back toward you, Matthew. Speaking of acquisitions, I mean, you recently just announced getting controlling interest of GXR's sports and technology assets. And you just talked coming into this that you guys have so much coming down your roadmap. So maybe I guess the question here is, what are the key milestones investors and stakeholders should be watching for the coming months ahead?
I think you just said it, actually. Just keep an eye on our ticker. I think that the audience would have noticed that our ticker has changed in the last day or two. The holding group now is Sports Entertainment Gaming Global, and the ticker is SEGG, SEGG. And we're excited about this launch. We're excited about the name, the brand that we're building as Holding Co. It has nothing to do with lottery.com not working for us. It's just that the model has shifted so much over the last 2 years that we really are not just a gaming company in the lottery space. We are effectively we are building an exciting new sports media brand that covers so many aspects of gaming, entertainment, sports, including the likes of esports, etc. And the acquisitions that we've identified and now are in that pipeline, which I know that I've been talking about since November of last year. Of course, I hope I don't look too smug because, of course, we knew what was coming. We've been working on this for a long time. We building the team was key. The turnaround was absolute paramount. You can't run before you can walk. You've got to clean the company, first of all. I'm delighted that as each interview goes, we're talking less and less about the past and more about the future. And SEGG is very much about the future of this company. And so on one hand, you have sports, you have entertainment, you have gaming, and there's no question that we are looking at this business as a global company. And whilst lottery is it's you don't want to say it, but it's like your favorite child. It's a beautiful brand. it really is such a decent model. But unfortunately, over the last few years, for all of the reasons that we've discussed before, it was tarnished and became quite toxic. It's taken 2.5 years to clean the brand, as we've talked about before, to become SEC compliant, to regain shareholder confidence, build out these models, and of course to get funded, which, as we announced last time, that we've secured the $350 million of funding, and now we're putting those funds to good use. GXR it's a wonderful addition, as is, and we're excited about it. Tim has spoken before about how he sees this integrating that business and how it really launches us into the space of immersive live streaming. We're really excited with some of the announcements around that new acquisition. And concerts.com, which we just announced in the last 24 hours, that for me is the third pillar to this foundation that we're building. And as much as lottery.com, sports.com, and now concerts.com, I think that we have that ecosystem that is now complete. So we're delighted that concerts.com is now part of the family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel as though, investors are obviously waking up to this, from strategic hires and app innovation to acquisitions. Maybe just anecdotally to finish up, what is your message to the current and prospective shareholders, and why is now an exciting time to invest in lottery.com?
Look, I said before, when you asked me this question, why lottery.com now? And I said, because there was never a better time. I believe that we were trading at an all-time low, below 30 cents. And we have organically grown the business by announcing that the company is on the right trajectory in terms of putting right the wrongs of the past, and that the future is bright based on this very aggressive buy and build strategy that we put in place. Over the next few weeks and months, that will become even more aggressive. So that would be my message to our viewers and listeners today.
On that note, we'll pass it off to them as always. We'd love to know what you think in that comment section below, and consider subscribing as news catalysts like this come down the wire. Of course, we'll bring it to you here. But on that, we look forward to catching you in the next one.